Thursday, October 19th, 2017.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approve the minutes from September 21st, 28th, and 30th.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes. Pete?
Okay, in your boxes, you should have got the latest sales tax report. And again, this would be the first month where, again, the state removed the taxing of Medicare managed care organization services out of that, which, from the numbers the state provided several years ago for 2015 and I believe 16, or it was either 14 and 15, that resulted roughly about 4% of our total sales tax revenues. So for this month, we were 1.2% above last year at this time for that month. I'm assuming probably what happens is, you know, with the big summer months that we have here, kind of dwarfs any impact you might see because of that. I'm assuming probably for, you know, next month, which is August, again, that would probably be muted, but in September, we would probably see a bigger impact. And actually, the way we've got the budget set up, that's kind of how that looks. Like for the last month we have, which is September, collected in December, our budget number is about almost 2% less than the previous year's number. So we'll see where that goes. Overall, year over year, on just what I call raw data basis, that we're about 2% above last year at this time. Again, I look more at those variance numbers that I have in here, which points between 1.7 and 1.6% were above last year. So that's what you see out of that report.
As far as budget goes, Pete, that it looks like we're going to be ahead.
Slightly,
Yeah,
not much.
2%, 1.5%.
Yeah, 1.5. I would be fair to say. And I think I've already told you folks this, but you know, it's time to renew our 5-year agreement with the Erie Airport in Ottawa County. We've already discussed the terms of that. Just so you know, I got a copy of that from Ottawa County. Let them know, hey, it looks good to me. So go ahead and start getting your signatures. So, you know, maybe a week or two we'll get that back for your approval. And I think you're all aware of what we're doing out at the old MRDD workshop. Again, you know, we leased that to North Point, and there was an option there for them to purchase that property. We're working through that option right now. I'm not sure where we're at with I know we were going to get some amendment to that lease, but.
Right. There's the amendment, and I'm pretty happy with what they've presented. I'm still reviewing that, but that's the first step we need to take. And one of the things is someone told their appraiser to appraise it before the improvements that they've made, and the lease and even the amendment at this point both indicate that the appropriate price would be the price at the time the option is exercised in writing.
Mm-hmm.
That has not actually occurred yet.
Okay.
So we advise that based on what the current lease says, that the appraisers appraise it as is right now.
And you, I'm assuming, directed their attorney to get that letter in as far as exercising the option.
Well, he said they are not gonna exercise the option until we amend the lease, because they wanted to, the lease has in it a pretty tight, time frame.
Yeah.
From when the exercise is to when closing is and so
Okay.
forth.
Okay.
So that's really one of the primary things in the amendment.
All right.
Is just that it spreads those out a little bit more. And I agree, they are pretty tight. I mean, it's like 30 days to close kind of stuff, and
Okay.
this is a big deal, and I understand why they went a little bit extra time. So that's primarily what the amendment.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got to go through a lot split and all that yet.
Yeah, we got a lot split. We still need to get title work. I mean, there's just other things that aren't gonna happen as fast as envisioned in the original lease.
Okay.
So that's all in the works.
Yeah, and part of that was if we go through that each party hires an appraiser, and then those two appraisers get their heads together and decide on a third one, which they have done.
They have done, I don't know if they've contracted or gotten the third person yet. I know they picked one.
They
between the
picked
two of
one.
them. They
I
did
called
pick
that
one.
individual last night. He's on board.
Okay,
I sent him some preliminary information, so he's willing to do it.
good. And
So we'll
I've
get
got all
started on that road.
I've got the legals and the surveys and all that, if you wanna.
Well, I sent him the
If
legals.
there's anything you don't have.
I don't have the actual survey report, if there was one. I had that map.
That's primarily it.
That's
yeah.
primarily it.
Yeah, and there's actually, I think, two of those. One's got the overlays of the easement areas on it. I'm not sure that's on the first one, is it?
Oh,
But I have all of them, one way or the other. that I
Okay.
can provide.
well,
And.
the map you sent me, I sent him the parcel, I sent him the legals of the parcels in the easement areas.
And I'm sure that Dan and their appraiser, I can't think of
Emily,
it. Elizabeth?
Emily?
Emily, I think they both have everything, so I would assume they'll share too, but we can certainly provide them direct to the third guy if you need.
Yeah. Okay. So just give you an update on where we're at with that. Our planning director gave me a copy of an agreement with, this is a collaboration between the City of Sandusky, Board of Commissioners, again, through really our Erie Regional Planning, Erie Metro Housing Authority to do an assessment of fair housing. I gotta talk to Steve a little bit about this. I'm assuming we've done it before. It's for like a 5-year planning period. But basically has the city to be in the lead, hiring a consultant, everybody agrees on the consultant, and then we share the costs. So, I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. But I gotta talk to Steve a little bit more. Just give you guys a heads up that this is coming.
I didn't see a breakdown of how they're dividing the costs.
We're gonna split it equally,
It's just equal.
yeah.
What's the cost?
Don't know yet, because they gotta hire a consultant. They gotta go through that process. And all the parties have to agree to the consultant, which, you know, I would say that's pretty standard practice.
Just the initial collaboration agreement.
Yeah. Mhm. That's all I got.
Also, Pete, I've got something here that I wanted to just talk about a little bit. At the September 28th County Commission meeting, a resolution was voted on that I had not seen prior to the meeting, and it really had no opportunity to do any research on it. It has been a practice of the commission to have the resolutions ready the day before, usually by 1 p.m., so all the commissioners knew what was coming at them at the next day's commission meeting. A resolution was introduced for giving the water line and sanitary sewer line special assessments and any related penalties placed on various parcels attributed to Erie County Commissioners Resolutions 01561 and 01562. The resolution was made by Commissioner Old and seconded by Commissioner Shenigo. The resolution passed, and one property owner, Genesis, had $250,000 in assessments and penalties removed from the parcels that they had owned and had purchased actually less than 3 years ago with those assessments on them. Genesis purchased the parcel at a closed bid meeting from the Erie County Land Bank. They beat out the Kingston Nursing Home, who wanted to build an addition onto their nursing home, and Hody Builders of Sandusky. All of the bidders had agreed to pay the assessments on these penalties either upfront or in installments. I have since received information that there were 13 parcels involved in the Chapel Creek area, and Genesis owned 9 or 70% of these 13 parcels. Genesis was about to be foreclosed on by the Erie County Treasurer as they were over $100,000 past due on a large parcel they had never paid any assessments on that one parcel since the purchase about 3 years ago. In an email that all the commissioners were copied on in March of this year, Rob Quinn, the president of Genesis, contacted our commission clerk and asked to be put on the March 23rd commission meeting agenda so he could ask the commissioners to forgive the assessments on the parcels that he had purchased. Commissioner Shenago, in a related email that we were all copied on, told the commission clerk, "Hold up till I speak to him." Well, he must have spoken to him because there are no more assessments or penalties due on their parcels. I think we've set a very bad precedent with this backdoor occurrence.
Anything else, Pete?
Nope.
Carolyn, you want to move to the Access Management Board? I know we're a few minutes early.
Do you want to do the resolutions first, or
Oh, yeah.
it's up to you?
No, that's fine.
Okay, you want me to hold this?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one needs to be held.
Just so you know, I think I've spoken to you guys individually about this, but there's a budget resolution to give the auditor's office an additional $3,000 for I want to call it an addition to their payroll software package, which would essentially put the pay stubs, if you will, on essentially the internet. That's how employees would download those, as opposed to the way they do it now is, they print them all off and distribute to all the offices, and all the offices distribute to their employees. This way would essentially cut down on all of those steps.
Is this a piece that goes in with the Harris software that they
Yeah.
have right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So go over that process again one more time. They print all the stubs off, and then they give them to Carolyn, and she distributes them to us.
Give them to Danielle.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
distributes them, and then we distribute them.
Yeah, in other words, all the main payroll processors, they get their stack,
So they're not folding and putting in the envelopes. We are.
we do that.
Okay. Type of password, get online.
Yeah, I mean, you do that, I mean, you can look up what your leave balance is. From my understanding, like your W-2 be the same thing, you would just download it, they wouldn't have to print them off and mail them and all that kind of stuff.
That's what we have at the other place I work, and it's a nice program. This was not in Rick's original budget.
No, was not.
Why was that? Is this something they just discovered?
Could be, don't know, for sure.
Discovered they got something.
And he doesn't have the money in his budget to do this.
I looked at it, it's somewhat tight, it's debatable, let's put it that way.
Okay.
But he's got the budget, he's got the money in his budget to do it, though, I would assume.
It's close.
Close. Okay.
We assume that Rick has reviewed the security of that system, that however it's gonna be password protected or whatever.
I would
by
assume
each
so.
employee, because
Right.
somehow you're gonna have.
I've never looked at my stub, but do we have social security numbers on them? I wouldn't
Boy,
think
I don't
we
know.
would.
Employee numbers, I'm not
Employee
sure, I think
numbers.
social's
Yeah,
on there, I
so-
think each employee has a number that they use instead of that.
You know, I guess we
Ours
can go
just get
through and,
handed out, we don't even get ours in envelope.
No, it's just that,
Desk.
I mean, but realize not every single county employee sits at a desk and has their own computer. We have people that work out in the field that don't have that.
Sure. There's
So-
probably a substantial number of those. Well, they're gonna have to address that. I mean,
We're gonna have to address that, yeah.
just say, oh, good luck, go find a computer, you know?
Yeah.
They have to have some
I
access
mean, to be
that.
fair to everybody,
Yeah,
right?
Maybe somebody can opt out somehow.
yeah.
Outside.
Could be. But it's
Ready?
up there, just so you know.
okay. Resolution Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of releasing any liens or claim of liens against property now or formerly owned by Randall and Jerry Schaefer located at 11005 Huron Avery Road, Milan.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution County Commission authorizing the county auditor to make interfund transfers.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution of board releasing any liens or claim liens against property are now formerly owned by Thomas and Patricia Zimmerman, located at 3707 Campbell Street.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution for the purpose of entering into an amendment number 8, the sub-grant agreement with the Hovey Career Center on behalf of North Coast Regional One-Stop System.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution of board for the purpose of entering into an agreement with Collegic Information Solutions.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of making appointments to the Erie County Corrections Planning Board to act in an advisory capacity.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
You know, I have a question on that. Aren't all 3 county commissioners on that?
I don't think so.
We always have been.
You're more than welcome to attend. It's a public meeting. But
Okay.
by statute, I think it's just one
Okay.
is necessary.
Resolution Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of releasing any liens or claims of liens against property now formerly owned by Joseph Moscone, trustee, located at 4024 Hayes Avenue.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board authorizing the county auditor to make supplemental appropriations.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
You're moving faster than I am.
A little quick.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of approving the filing of a civil complaint against manufacturers and distributors of prescription opiates.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Is that in relation to what you had sent us?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They're just gonna add the manufacturers into the lawsuit that we've already filed against the distributors.
Okay. Well, with the problem we're having throughout the United States, I mean, I don't know where the hell.
Big thing on
to start
60
with or
Minutes this
stop.
past weekend.
Yeah.
Really raised a storm in that same situation, where they took away a lot of the DEA's power on exactly this issue.
Yeah. Resolution of board entering into an agreement amended with number 1 with Smart Bill.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution of the board authorizing county auditor to make interfund transfers.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioners releasing any liens, claims against property now or formerly owned by Mark and Denise Lindsay, located at 4908 Hayes Avenue.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of declaring certain items surplus.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the county auditor to make supplemental appropriations. There's this $3 grand.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioners for the purpose of declaring certain Erie County equipment surplus and ordering same to be sold.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution Board of County Commissioners for the purpose of releasing any liens or claims liens against property now or formerly owned by Michael Miller, located at 3815 Campbell Street.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Certificate authorizing certificate of presence presented by the county auditor pursuant to authorizing drawing of warrants.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing county auditor to make interfund transfers.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution of board releasing any liens or liens against property now or formerly owned by Yehovah Career Center located at 315 West Mason Road.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution, County Commissioners, for the purpose of endorsing a grant application for Minchell Alavar Reserve Project, Kelly's Island, to be submitted to NRAC.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a map there that shows what the property is.
Can I get a copy of that?
Oh, sure.
In color, please. Resolution, Board of County Commissioners authorize the county auditor to make supplemental appropriation.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution for the purpose of releasing any liens or claimed liens against property now or formerly owned by David and Deborah Volz located at 3609 Campbell Street.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Resolution, Board of County Commissioner, Erie County, for the purpose of entering into an agreement with Management and Network Services.
Second?
Mr. Monahan? Mr. Old?
Yes.
Want me to go through with the
Yeah, I need to recess into an Access Management Board of Appeals meeting.
so moved?
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Let me get the sign-up sheet going. Sign in, ma'am? Oh, sign in.
No one's attending?
No, Matt Rogers is at a conference today, so he cannot be here, but he said it's just your standard new construction residence, where there's just not enough frontage between the properties, but they have no objection, there's not going to be a traffic issue.
Okay. Resolution of the Erie County Access Management Board of Appeals for the purpose of granting the variance request of Derek Powara.
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion then to reconvene.
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Monahan?
Yes.
Mr. Old?
Yes. Move we adjourn?
Second?
Mr. Old?
Yes.
Mr. Monahan?
Yes. I went over to the Erie Auto Airport yesterday.
Oh.
And where I had seen some of the guys for about 6 months.